Well, hey Exchange kids, we are so glad that you have joined on today. I actually spoke the message last week, and do you remember what I spoke on? I spoke on the greatest gift ever, and that was Jesus. And I hope that you learned something last week and that you're preparing what you're gonna give this Christmas. Well, right now, we're having our in-person service. And so we're actually gonna do a little bit of a recap of something that Miss Kim spoke a few months ago. So I want you to pay extra attention because you might have missed something that she actually taught. So can everyone get out your hands, and I want you to clap as Miss Kim comes to bring the word today.
Exchange kids, Miss Kim here. I'm so excited because my school is now out for summer. So I know it's been so hot out there this week. I hope you found a little bit of shade or maybe even a swimming pool that you can swim in. So if you have, just keep enjoying and stay cool. Well, I have a question for you today. Do you have a favorite cartoon? For me, I like the classics like Charlie Brown and Garfield. And even though I'm not the greatest cartoonist, I'm gonna give it my best shot today. And I'm gonna use my dry erase marker, some water, and a glass bowl and make my cartoons come to life. Are you ready? Well, I'm gonna start just with a simple stick figure cartoon. And I just wanna make sure that all of the lines are connected on my cartoon. So I'm gonna try to make my cartoon little running stick figure person, and I'm going to go over it just a couple times to make sure that all of the lines are connected and there's plenty of ink on the glass surface. Turn this a little bit so I can get a better angle here. Alright, just getting the final touches here, making sure everything's all nice and connected. Alright, I think we're looking good. Okay. I'm going to take my water and just pour it on the opposite side of where my drawing is. And nice and slow and steady. And I just need, that's about enough water. And I'm going to gently tilt the bowl and let my stick figure come to life right off the surface of the bowl. So there he goes. Woo! Oh, he lost his head. It's still down there, that's okay though, but you can make your stick figure kind of move around. You can make it dance. So now he's got his head back, awesome. Oops, he lost an arm, well, it's all right too. But you can make him kind of swirl around, you can make them really dance or swim, and you can even take this and pour it over the sink and watch them swim out over the waterfall. So very cool. I'm gonna put that off to the side, my cartoon stick figure. And I want to use this example to talk about and think about the idea of forgiveness. Have you ever said, oh, they owe me an apology? I know I have. And I bet during this time, you've probably lost patience with a brother, a sister, a family member, or a friend, someone you've been spending a lot of time with. And maybe they were calling you names, maybe they were doing something they know you don't like, or maybe they were just plain being mean. So how many times is too many to stop forgiving somebody? In the Bible, Peter asks the same question to Jesus in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verses 21 and 22. Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times should I forgive my brother when he sins against me? 7 times? Now at this time, the rabbis were instructing people to forgive others 3 times. So Peter must have thought, 3, I'm being super generous. I'll say 7. And at that time, 7 was a really special number that represents completeness and wholeness. So he probably thought he really aced Jesus' question. But he must have been surprised when Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. Wow. When I was younger, I used to think, well, I don't have to forgive my brother anymore, because I'm sure he's been mean to me more than 77 times. But lucky for me, that's not what this means. And I say lucky because I'm so thankful that God doesn't stop forgiving me after 77 times. You see, when God sent his son Jesus on the cross, he forgave our sins once and for all. He forgave the sins that we already did commit. He forgave the sins that we are committing now, and he forgave the sins that we will commit in the future. He had a perfect forgiveness for us, a perfect grace. So when somebody is mean to us, it's out of that grace that God has already given to us that we can share with them. So it's less about the person, less about what they've done, and more about the grace that Jesus and God have given to us. In the Bible, in Colossians chapter 3, verse 13, it says, "Do not be angry with each other, but forgive each other. If someone does wrong to you, then forgive him. Forgive each other because the Lord forgave you." This is the why we do it. It's because the Lord forgave us. Have you ever thought, but a simple apology just won't fix it? Yes, but when we sin and we hurt God's feelings, when we hurt God, all we can offer is a simple apology. And we take his grace, we accept his grace, and it's out of that we share that grace with others. You see, forgiveness releases the power and the hurt and the pain up to God. We put that in God's hands, and we can trust God to work in that person's life. So in our cartoon example over here, the water represents forgiveness. The glass surface represents you and represents me. And the drawing, the cartoon, represents something wrong or something mean that happened to you. The water, as it slid up over the surface, as it covered you, as it covered me, it released the power of that hurt against us. And it makes us free and clear again. It brings freedom into our lives. Well, when I was in high school, they used to sell these chocolate chip cookies that were so big and so delicious. And in San Diego, we would eat outside, we'd put the cookies to sit out in the sun, and we'd let the chocolate chips just melt and get the whole cookie gooey, gooey and delicious. Well, the cookies weren't free. They cost $1 each, and sometimes I'd treat myself to one. Another guy I knew also would ask me oftentimes to lend him $1 so he could buy one. And I did, and he always said he'd pay me back, but after doing this several times, it dawned on me he wasn't meaning to pay me back. He wasn't going to. So what did I do? I decided I was going to forgive the debt of money that he owed me. Now I knew I wasn't going to get that money back, but I could move on in freedom with the money that I still did have in my pocket. And, but the other thing I did was I decided I was not going to lend him money again in the future. You see, wisdom tells us that we don't have to trust somebody. Forgiveness is not trust. God has given us wisdom to think about if somebody's wronging me continually, I can forgive them, but I don't have to trust them again in the future. So we want to make sure that we're careful with our wisdom as well as our trust. So as you forgive, just watch the power of God come in and bring freedom into your life. I know I've seen this in my life and in the lives of people around me. So that's my prayer for you, is that you just allow freedom and forgiveness just to flood your life. So go on out, have a great week, and we'll see you on the Zoom call this afternoon at 1:30. Take care.